Every opal represents a full love story that starts in the Australian outback, that goes through our Opal Minded hands in Sydney, and it ends up in your loving hands to express your love for self or for somebody else. What is really, really special when it comes to opals is that you buy it, you get it, you own it because you want to be yourself, because you want to be an individual. It's totally unique, that exists in a copy of one and only. Building the opal life with my husband has been a little bit of a Wild West adventure. Of course, opals were not anywhere on my radar of what goes in the world. It was just a non-entity until I met my husband. The first time I ever really seen opals was when John's friend brought to our place several parcels of black boulder opals. And the quality of these gems was out of this world. That was incredible. Australian opals are marvelously special, not only because they are the most beautiful opals in the world and the most durable ones, also because of their connection to the land. That contrast and the connection, I love it.
Australian opal is so special for its beautiful play of colour. It's mesmerizing to see how one colour slowly moves in fascinating bursts of rainbow shades and hues.
What I love about opals is that you'll never look at the same opal twice. Every time you look at it, depending on the sunlight, the atmosphere around it and your location, you will find new play of color, new patterns, always something new. So you'll never get bored of your opal.
When someone buys an opal, they're really buying a story. Opal always expresses the beauty of love and the human connection, a human story. It was a very particular moment when I was totally hooked on what I was doing. Two women at Opal Minded, both from the same boat, one crying at one end of the store, telling me how beautiful these Australian opals were, and the other one telling me the story of grieving of her husband being on their last journey, and this opal now being a memory of that incredible last journey. What I've learned is that anyone who buys an opal does not buy it to be able to fit in. They buy it because it is just for them. My husband comes from a little dynasty of opal family. John's father was a maverick. He was an adventurer, he was an explorer. So when he came to Australia after the Second World War, he was exploring Australia for all sorts of things. His head was filled with dreams of grandeur and excitement, and he stumbled upon opals. And that was it. He was sold. He had a virus of opals. He had to stay with it and run with it. And so the same happened with his wife, and that's a beautiful little love story in itself. So they met. She said to him, "John, rescue me." And in these words, literally. And he said, "Oh, how can I rescue this beautiful princess? Yes, let's get married." The beginning of opal journey into our lives starts with mining and how my husband mines them. He does things that have no relevance or meaning to majority of people in this world. There are not that many people who go to the middle of the desert in 40 degrees and expect to find little things that are terribly precious and exciting to him, and some people who discovered them. Apart from my husband, I'm creative director at Opal Minded. I'm also a gemologist and a designer and an opal specializing valuer.
Renata is the most exceptional person I've met in my life. She's not only the owner of the company, but she's a mentor and leader of people who work here for any enthusiast. Renata brings love to this industry. Renata has unrepeated imagination that always strives for perfection.
So a moment that I will probably always gonna remember would be the first time I got to share my knowledge that I learned along Dr. Renata Bernard. And I see the passion and the fascination in the client's eyes, and that's something that I will always cherish.
So this is a love story, this is an opal story, and that's your unique story. That's all.